Hopefully you can hear me over the wind. It's not too bad. But started this yesterday. Kind of our first time seeing how our setup should flow. Had some other people helping me. The rest of the family. It's a little bit colder today and stuff, and they got other things to do today. But I think I found a pretty efficient way to do it. We'll see. I'm going to record it here in a second. But basically, I'll start off loading up the bucket with a bunch of the logs that I can get. Handle with just picking up. We're going to park the bucket right here. That way I'm going to be standing here. I'll be doing the splitting, pulling them out of the bucket, and they just get tossed right in here. So hopefully I'll only be touching this stuff once, as far as this process goes. Because once that gets full up, I'll pick it up with the tractor on the forks and take it where I want, let it dry out a little more until it's time to use. And I just think this is going to be a pretty efficient way to do it. So far, I did a round earlier, stacking it onto the wooden pallet. That worked good. It took me a few minutes, a little bit extra because I had to stack it. I'll show you over here. Here's the ones we got done so far. That's a pallet there that I stacked up. I didn't want to go too high. I didn't know exactly how heavy it would be. You can see we did like a corner post where you do the 3x3 on each corner, and then I stacked in between, and then just random stuff stacked in the middles. Here's the middle part, and it's about I'd say about 3 feet tall. So I thought that was a good size. The tractor handle was no problem. I am thinking about putting a strap over it, but before I do that, I'll probably end up putting a tarp over it, so at least covering the top, a small tarp. Put a strap over it, hold it together a little better, so that way if I want to move it again, I can. These things, that's what I like about these. You don't have to worry about strapping them, stacking it, just chuck it in, and it went. The bottom there is all cardboard that I was using for kindling and the start fires before. I didn't feel like taking it out. Got to the top, started stacking stuff vertically around here. That way I was able to get it a lot taller. And my plan is, I take it from here, I can open that garage door there, and actually stick one of these whole stacks right inside the garage. And you can see the smokestack there, so the wood burner stove's right there, so I can have a pallet or whatever sitting there if I want. Right now we got it stacked up right here on the ground. We're having to come out the door and grab it and go back in, which isn't bad, but just trying to get things a little bit better each year. I'm going to show these different methods. Anybody, you might see something like, hey, I can do that, or I like that. But there's our method, or my method to the madness right now. I'm sure things will change some, but I do think this, for a one-person operation, like I said, having the tractor sitting there with a bucket full of things ready to go, grab it, put it on there, split it, and as it's splitting, just toss it right in that bin. When the bin gets full, I'll pick it up, move it, put another bin up there. There's a lot of things you can do with these little bins. They're handy. But you can see some of this stuff is a lot bigger, so probably have to end up getting the grapple to pick some of these up and set them up on the wood splitter. Might save those for a two-person when I got a second hand, or second set of hands I should say. Also, I'm going to try using the chain with either the forks or the grapple, and I got a set of the tongs, and see if those work any better. See which method I like best. But so those won't all be in this video, I'm sure, so you have to come back and check those out later. But for now, I'm gonna get back to work, and let's get some footage of me working, so I'm not just sitting here talking all day. Alright, well, you can see from the video there, it seemed to work pretty dang smooth. I mean, for one person, This thing should have been chocked though, because it did get closer to the basket. But yeah, I'm loving these baskets. And the more I was thinking about it, my father-in-law, he keeps his wood in his front barn up close to the house. He's got 3 or 4 barns, quite a bit of land. And using these, because there's empty spaces in some of those other barns, there's no reason he couldn't store his wood in the other barns and keep his front barn for things he'd prefer to have in there. He didn't have to venture as far from the house to get. And these, you could even stack these. I'd be careful about it, but I don't, they stack them in warehouse situations all the time. So you could stack these up 2 high without a problem. 3 if you're careful in those barns and let them dry in there. They're going to stay wet, or they're going to stay dry. They're going to dry out, because most of these barns aren't, these aren't metal buildings. These are like tobacco barns and stuff. But yeah, and then when he needs some wood, he just go with his tractor, scoop it up with the forks, bring it to the front barn. Or I made him one of these actually, because that one over there actually cut out a little bit, as you can see. Makes it easier to get in there and get to the bottom, but it makes it more difficult to stack unless put some kind of like a board there, or some metal brackets to kind of cover that back up, I guess. That way when it's stacked like that, then you just move it out. But it's a lot easier. I just threw it in, and basically as I was throwing it in, trying to lay them long ways, yeah, as you can see, so that way they don't come through the holes. But even before I started doing that, just chucking them in, I only had 2 fall through. But yeah, great option for these. If you can get a hold of these for a reasonable price, I can pick them up for around $50 sometimes, but I'll resell them for $100, because not everybody can find them in their area for $50. I'm willing to travel with a big trailer, and I make it worth my time. And I pick up 8 or 9 of them at a time at that price, and then I get them closer to this area, because there's no one selling them. Resell them for $100. If they sell, they sell. If they don't, I'm not upset, because I use them. But anyways, yeah, if you can get these for $100 or less, definitely a heck of a time saver. You're not stacking, you're just tossing in there. And if you got a little tractor, it's RK25 there, picking it up, moving it, because it had no problem picking that up or that. And I don't even have any weight in the back except for the tires, the fluid filled tires right now. So it was nowhere near even close to maxing this out. But I can move them anywhere I want. Like I said, I can set them in the garage, pull it back out, get the next one, throw it in there if I want to do that. There's just so many more options. It's quick and easy. Stack it on the pallet works. Pallets are free, but that thing, I got to be really careful when I move it. I'm going to have to strap it down with some ratchet straps and stuff. So now you got cost in the ratchet straps. It takes more time and effort to stack it so it doesn't, fall over. It's all up to you, however you want to do things. If you don't have any money, but you can afford, $10 worth of ratchet straps, you can find a free pallet, go with the pallets. If you got 50 or $100 and you need, I heard this is about a rick's worth. I'm not really sure. I might try to look around on YouTube and see if I can find, somebody using these and exactly what, if they've actually taken like a rick of wood and stacked it in there and saw how full it was, vice versa. But anywho, that's it for now. I got to go back and I got to start cutting some more of that into pieces so I can get it on this thing. It's a nice day. I got to get to it. Have a good one. Like, share, and subscribe.